Hi everyone, my name is Sebastian, and I wanted to show a quick video about what I did as an experiment. So I did these SVG animals. You can see. Well, I mean, it's basically line art illustration, but it's I'll just show you. So here you have a page, and as you scroll down, you have line art of animals that illustrate on screen as you scroll down. And here you have a bird, you have a deer, as you can see. And you also have a cougar. And what this essentially is SVG line art. So it's a SVG graphic that was done in Illustrator using the pen tool. And you take the code from Illustrator, you put it into a code editor like Visual Studio Code, and you go from there. So I could just show you. There are some tutorials as to how to do this, but I'll just show you my file. So this is essentially the file. So it is the index page. It's a standard HTML document. I have a little bit of animation, CSS for animation going on. So animate.min.css. Picking some fonts, and also using some WoW, the WoW.js extension or plugin if you want to use it, which basically what that does is that when you refresh the page, it makes the text like appear on screen as you scroll down. So like as you scroll down, you'll see the text kind of fades in and appears on screen, and like the title actually animates a little bit from the right to the left. So that's a little bit of an effect that I'm using the WoW.js library, and I'm also using animate.css. Basically my HTML. Now this is where the SVG graphic comes in. So this SVG graphic essentially is, if I go to web design and projects, SVG animals, I have a bunch of versions here, but I think we'll go to the latest one. So we'll just open this up in Illustrator, and this SVG, like this is what it is. So we don't need this background. We're just gonna remove it. And what this is essentially this is the pen tool that I'm using to create these outlines. And if we just click on something specific, so here's a path. We can see like we could edit the path. We can modify it, right? Like this is using the pen tool, and it's one continuous line art illustration. So we have the animals, and we also have the shapes. So the shapes are separate, and we also have the type. So I also had type going on here, which I had like bird, deer, and cougar, but I decided to remove it. If we close this, so this is essentially the SVG graphic, and we just export. Well, I'll show you again. Actually, I shouldn't have closed the file. Okay, so it's here, right? So if we want to export this, we just go File, Save As SVG. I'll just say Save to Desktop, sure. And then we go SVG code, and then we could see all this SVG code right here. So we would just Command A, copy it, and paste it into Visual Studio Code. So that's the code. Okay. And when we paste it in here, we get basically the SVG graphic. What we really need to do is add this attribute, which is preserve aspect ratio x mid y max meet, which basically preserves the aspect ratio, so it doesn't squish or squash or anything like that. And we have the SVG graphics. You have the shapes. This is actually taking the names off of the layers in Illustrator. And then you also have, this is the line art, as you can see here, which is quite long. So these are all the points that you can see where it's drawing the vector graphic. And then we basically have some JavaScript. So we have some wow, and like we have also a custom script. So before that, I'll show you the CSS. So we have basically some CSS for styling the page, and we're adding colors. This is taken from the Illustrator, so we're just styling the graphics with different colors. And also that's the CSS if you want to see here, and also the JavaScript. We have a little bit of JavaScript where we're basically taking the path, and we're animating the stroke of that path. So this is the JavaScript that does that. I learned this basically from a video from design course, I think. I was just taking this JavaScript, but I use const instead of var, because I think const and let are a little bit more modern to use instead of var. So yeah, this is the JavaScript that does this. And also the styling. So one thing about this page, which is quite interesting, let me just go live here. You'll notice that like it seems like everything is flowing together side by side, but if actually what you'll notice is that if we go to the main tag right here and turn off this transform property, you'll notice that like the actual SVG graphic is set to position absolute, where it's just taking up the whole page and the text is animating beside it, right? That's actually what's going on here. But then what you do is that when you inspect it and you look at main and then you enable the transform translate X property, it actually makes it look like everything is scrolling together in sync, which is quite nice. That little trick to use the transform CSS property is really, really quite helpful. And that's really kind of what brings the magic to this, I guess, is really making it look like it's all together, where you don't have to use necessarily the text attribute or text element within SVG. You can actually use real HTML. And it's not fully responsive. Like, it responds a little bit. It doesn't fully respond with mobile. So you could try to separate this out and try to make it mobile responsive. But I just want to show you a demo of what I did. That's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed, and cheers. Have a good one.